rights attorney, a mediator, and a legislative drafter. I'm excited to find out all about her world and, of course, share with you her gifts, her time, and her talent tonight. And so without further ado, please give a warm welcome, Facebook, Instagram, Roku TV, as well as our family out there on YouTube. Thank you so much for tuning in. Give a warm welcome this evening to Miss Maaria Mozaffar. Welcome to She Speaks TV, Maaria. How are you this evening? I lost her.
Are you able to hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes, ma'am. Let me start that over again. How are you this evening?
I'm great. I'm excited to speak to you tonight, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I was reading through your bio, and honestly, you are just a walking powerhouse, especially a divine inspiration to women around the world. Can you start off by just telling us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Sure. No, thank you so much. And I love that you say divine inspiration because all of my inspiration comes from the divine. But I would like, are you able to? Yeah, so I hope you
That's just me.
So yeah, no, but so I'm a civil rights attorney, I'm a mediator, I'm a legislative drafter, and I basically change circumstances for issues that I care about and communities that need help. And I don't believe in passing the buck, so I kind of play a lot of different roles, and I'm a mother and a wife too, so I carry it all together.
I love that. We like to refer to that as being a walking superwoman. You are able to balance it all and get it all done. So listen, as a woman of color, what would be your advice to people of color, women and girls, who are considering entering this dynamic field that you're in?
Yeah, so when I do my work, I don't come at it from a person of color. I come at it from a person who has to not pass the buck and work extremely hard. And so I would give the same advice to every girl and every woman and every human being out there that make a commitment that you are deliberately in a situation where you have to respond. And something that stirs your soul, that you feel you can contribute and change the circumstances to, don't pass the buck. Don't pass the buck. And I think that's my advice to anybody, because at the end of the day, the reason why change happens is because somebody took up the opportunity instead of saying it's not my problem. So that's really what drives me.
I love that. You said someone took up the opportunity versus saying that it's not my problem. And I think so often we do that. We see it and we say, oh my God, no one has done that before. Or someone is not there yet. There's not representation there yet. So I don't want to be the first. And I love how you say, don't pass the buck. That's a whole T-shirt at the end of the day that starts a conversation. Don't pass the buck. I love that. Who
and you know what inspires me? No, I'm saying the reality is that I think people always wait for circumstances to get better, right? And I think the reality is that no one's coming.
Right.
No one's coming. And we are the ones that have to make those changes. But as far as your question of what inspires me is that I believe that people can evolve. I believe that people can change their minds. I believe in the basic common decency of every human being, despite the differences that I may have politically or socially on an issue. And so I believe that every basic necessity of a human is virtually the same, which is food, love, protection, and family, and inspiration to feel like you're not alone. And I think that's what drives people when they feel those things are absent. And if we can remind people that those things exist for everybody, then we're all moving in the same direction.
I love that. Do you have any mentors? Like, who inspired you to even get into this career field? Who?
Well, I look to a lot of individuals who stood their ground when everybody felt that they were in the wrong. And I'm very inspired by Muhammad Ali's legacy, America's champ, because I think he was really good at what he did. He had a skill set and he excelled in that skill set. And because people respected him for that skill set, they wanted to know more about him. And then he used his skill set and that platform to be able to articulate things that people thought that kind of wasn't his business, but he didn't pass the buck, right? And then he took that opportunity to educate, and people saw commonality in him. And so I think people value and appreciate what you bring to the table, but you got to figure out what you bring to the table. And then you have to commit yourself to use it for the better. And that's at the end what connects people.
I love that. You said you have to decide what you bring to the table. And then, of course, how to turn that, how to transmute that and really make it work so that everyone ultimately wins in the end. That's dope. I really love that. How do you discuss the issues or the bills that you're working with, if at all, with your family or with your children? Because I'm sure they're inspired by what mommy does on some level.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, for them, I'm mommy, and that's their prior their prior relationship with me, their most important relationship with me. But I think I actually just try to be an example. So I don't sit them down and say, this is the legislation I'm working on, or this is what you should all know about all these issues. I actually just have them watch in motion. So they're in the back seat when I'm driving them to school and I'm on a conference call, right? When I'm putting them to bed, I have a conversation with the legislator that I have to persuade to the other side. Guess what? Like, it's bedtime, they're on my shoulder, but they're listening to me. And I'm hoping that all those little pieces are memories, and then they come into their mind and their ears as they grow up. And then they remember those things that I used to say and I used to do, and they become natural, organic realities for them.
I love that. And of course, they're going to be able to look back and say, because of my mom, or because of the legacy that you're actually putting forth, that you've impacted change. How do you foresee changing? If we could talk about some of the bills that you are actually responsible for and what they mean, and then at the same token, how you foresee these bills changing the lives of children and families.
Absolutely. So, this session we were able to introduce 5 legislations, and 4 of them passed and are law. With anything else that I approach, I feel like this should have been done yesterday, so I go full force. And one of the legislations is cross-cultural mediation in bullying. And why it's written the way it's written is because I strongly feel to intervene and educate students at a younger age when they have no choice who they sit next to is critical. Because as we grow up and we become adults, people gravitate towards people that are more like them. And that's not the world we want to see. And so we want people to be able to understand as children what it feels like to be surrounded by diversity. And when bullying exists based on your bias, which means your ethnicity, your race, your sexual orientation, your religion, your ethnicity, those things we want to be able to give tools to kids and empower the victim and then educate the bully. Because what we want to do is we want to understand where the bully got this mentality from. And we want students who are victims to be able to articulate how they felt. And I got to say, when I was crafting the legislation with my team, I really thought about all those kids who didn't have a chance to articulate how they felt. And there were so many cases I read about around the world which led from bullying to suicide, in cases where kids felt alone.
Yes.
And I was just thinking about how those kids who suffer from suicide is obviously so tragic. And then there's so many children who grew up to be adults, who are adults, who still carry that baggage. And many times you'll see in conversations and different power dynamics, you'll see things perk up in people. And you kind of wonder, like, where is that coming from? And it is scars that they carry from interactions they've had as children that are based on bias and interactions that were unpleasant. And so I want to make sure that everyone has a chance to recreate the narrative and the memory where they are not a victim.
I love that. And of course, bullying, my goodness, the times have truly changed. I'm 46 plus, and we were taught to handle bullies a lot differently. And bullying has taken a whole new turn where, like you said, we see so many of our young children who are just giving up, who are committing suicide. And it is so painful to watch because, like you said, they feel like they don't have outlets. They feel like no one is listening. Even just recently with the, of course, it's assumed what's happening with the young gentleman a couple of months ago who actually got beat up by his peers and came back to school and took action as a way of handling that. I admire what you're doing because we really need to start having these very deep conversations at home, and our children need to feel as though they're safe to come to us. And you being a mom, if you don't mind me asking, how have you cornered that conversation with your own children?
Yeah, when it comes to the conversation of somebody judging you for your background or speaking in a certain way, number one, I tell them that you have to be very clear that that is what's happening. There's a lot of assumptions that we place on people, right? When there's rude children, there's rude children, and when there's disrespectful children, I'm sorry, someone's made. I'm so sorry. Someone's making a disrespectful comment. They could be disrespectful. So we have to identify what the motivation is. And then I had an incident where my daughter was talking to me about an incident, and she said, somebody gave me a sly eye and somebody looked at me not properly. And I said, okay, what did you do? And she said, well, I just gave them a look back, right? And that's fine. Like, it wasn't a situation where she was coward or intimidated. But I said to her, I said, that's fine, but a smile is better, a better response than a response that's exactly the same. And yeah. So I think that that's very critical. I think that teaching children how to respond and assume the best, always start off with the best, is key. So I never have these conversations, even though I know they exist and these situations happen. I want kids to learn on their own, absent physical, obviously, danger. But I want them to always assume first that the person is good, and maybe confused or maybe in a situation where they don't know how to communicate properly, and then take it from there. But never start from the negative.
Absolutely. I love that because, again, it teaches them one, tapping into their mindset, the power of critical thinking, the power of optimism, getting more bees. As my grandmother used to say, we get more bees with honey than we do with vinegar. Turning the other cheek and just being the bigger person. I love that.
Yeah.
How do you, what inspires you to draft bills that represent diversity and inclusion for youth?
Can you repeat that one more time? Sorry.
What inspires you to draft the bills that enhance diversity and inclusion for our youth?
Yeah, I mean, I would go back to the statement that we can't pass the buck, and I would say that diversity is our global community's biggest asset. I believe that we have been put on this earth to learn about one another. In fact, my faith tradition teaches me that we were created different, and we were created different in different aspects. We are all human, but we're created different, so we may learn and know from each other. So I think if you don't know diversity and you don't embrace diversity, then you are definitely missing out on the global experience of being human. That's what I feel.
I love that. If you do not embrace diversity, then you are missing out on the global experience of being human. Wow. That's definitely meat to chew on the bone for sure. I always talk about travel and seeing the world. I've been blessed to go everywhere from Morocco to Marrakesh to India to Australia. And it's always such a rich experience. And I believe that the more exposure that our children have, that we have, it gives us empathy. It teaches us to be able to develop skills to embrace culture from all over the world. And I love that because, again, in your world, writing these bills, putting together this legislation that empowers diversity and inclusion and brings the conversation to the table. How do you know that you have, I know as a legislation drafter, how do you know that you have a winning legislation in your hands? How do you know?
Yeah, that's not the question I start with. I don't start the question of whether this is winnable. I start the question of whether it's necessary.
Gotcha.
That's where I start the question. And then my job is to persuade both sides that it's necessary. And I remember that one of the legislations I wrote, I was questioned in a hearing saying, well, has there been any other state that has written a legislation like this. And I responded to the senator, no, but you'll be a visionary when you vote for it. And that's kind of the path and approach that I think needs to be taken. I think if we always wait for the right moment, if we're not ready yet, you've heard that, right? You've heard that in every capacity. We're not ready yet. This is not the time. This is not the time. Well, when is the time? Because we have people dying. We have people being discriminated against. We have people who live in food deserts, right? We have people that have horrible conditions in prisons and don't have a second chance. All of those things are happening. So you tell me that one person, that one life that has been damaged and hurt, you don't think we're ready? So we're ready to sacrifice those individuals? I'm not. So I think this is what it means to not pass the buck. The urgency of now. That's the phrase, right? And so I think we have to practice and believe it.
I love that. Has there ever been a time, Maaria, where you have a legislation hasn't gone the way you want it, and you've kind of gone home at the end of the day saying, ugh, and then you've seen, as the world has evolved, something happen, knowing that you had an opportunity to affect change? How has that made you feel?
Well, don't jinx me, because I haven't had that experience yet.
Yes. A winner. I love that.
I have not had that experience yet. When I do, I'm going to go back to the drawing board and know that it's a necessity. So I'll go right back at it. But no, that hasn't happened yet to me.
I love that. I'm so grateful that you hopped in today just to give us a few minutes of your time. I know that I see the precious gift sitting next to you. I know that you play so many roles. Is there anything that you would like to add that you want people to know about what you're doing, what you're working on, what's next for you?
I love that. Yeah, no, I would say that we have more legislations to come, but I wrote a book called More Than Pretty: How to Live a Life of Substance in an Artificial World, and I'm excited to launch it January 1st, 2022 as an online course. And I wanna teach people the things that I have learned of how to live a life of substance and make your decisions through a place of personal power, because I believe every movement is made up of individuals, and if we have powerful individuals, then our movements don't go off course. So I'm excited.
I love that. I'm looking forward to your book, and I would love to have another conversation with you before it drops, or when it drops, so that we can kind of keep the audience up to date on what you're doing.
The book has dropped, but it will be an online course. And I think that when we talk through the book and I'm able to speak, I think that's really where people connect more. And so the course is going to be launched in January. So I'm super excited, and I would love to speak to you about it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, tell the fans how they can find you, so that we can all stay connected.
Absolutely. Well, you can visit my website, www.MariaMozaffar.com. And you can message me through that website. I go off and on social media. You can find me on Facebook. And the reason why I do that is because I don't want to, I don't believe in, what's the word? Peanut galleries, right? I don't want to contribute peanut galleries, right? So I am on social media when I think it's important and valuable, when I get some breathing space, when I'm writing legislations. But you can find me on Facebook, and you can find me on the website, and I would love to hear from you.
Absolutely. Well, again, we say thank you so much for dialing in with us today. I look forward to your course. I actually will read your book, and so by the time we talk about the course, I'm an avid reader. So I look forward to seeing more powerful things that you're getting done and how you're affecting change around the globe.
Thank you so much. I'm excited.
Thank you. Have a good night. Well, ladies and gentlemen.
You too.
Yes, darling. Coming up on SheSpeaksTV, I'm excited. This past weekend here in Atlanta, we had an opportunity, obviously, being Women's Empowerment Weekend, had an opportunity to literally partake in a series of events, and of course, this dynamic duo that came to us out of Houston, Texas, co-founder of the Girlboss Suites. I'm excited. We're going to get started here. We'll be back here in just a few moments to discuss that Girlboss Suites. Stand by. Thank you for tuning in to SheSpeaksTV. One moment. the world. But I do want to let you know, first and foremost, it's coming up on holiday season. Actually, tomorrow I'm actually headed over the ocean, across the water to Europe, and I'm excited because, again, there's just so much talent around the world, so much energy out here, such a vibrant spring. But of course, Black Friday is coming, and so SheSpeaksTV is so excited to announce that our retail shop will be launching on this Black Friday weekend. We're coming out with a holistic line of products and goods that will continue to empower men and women around the world. So first and foremost, like for instance, for the ladies of SheSpeaks, we've got our empowerment retail therapy, if you will. So I've got my t-shirts coming out. We've got our coffee mugs coming out, things that you'll be able to tune in, sip your hot tea, sip your hot cocoa while you are tuning in to SheSpeaksTV. Ladies, you know I believe in the empowerment of women, so we have our Won't She Do It line that is coming out. Excited that you'll be able to pre-order and drop that. There's just so many dynamic things. I have a whole health, holistic and wellness product lines that I'll be bringing to the forefront, and that makes my heart leap, which is part of my inspiration for traveling to Europe. When I say that God has been really doing some things in this season to empower me to help you grow, that really makes my heart beat. And of course, we are just preparing to conclude Women's Empowerment Month. So I have a new line of candles dropping. My first one is called Inhale, Exhale, Baby. All the things that represent me under the SheSpeaks brand, things that keep me whole, things that keep me balanced, things that I love. It's kind of like Oprah, you know, she has her favorite things. Well, under the House of She, just moving into 2022, we've got new books coming out. We're preparing for New York Fashion Week as we're designing an entire clothing line. So we have been super duper busy working with our partners, obviously True Blue PR. Recently, I became an Amazon influencer, so I'll be able to put all my favorite things on Amazon for you all to tune in. So when I say that now is the time for you in this season, it's the fourth quarter, but you're never too late to do and start what it is that you've always dreamed of. It's never too late to do what you love. People always say, oh my God, well, you're doing too much. How do you find time to do that? And I say that if you have a list and you have a series of things that you want to do moving into this fourth quarter, moving into the first quarter of 2022, write the list and make it plain. Not to worry. I love how Maarias said that we really don't think about what the naysayers are saying. We don't feed into the peanut gallery. I'm going to be the first person to tell you that other people's opinions of me have really never mattered, right? I'm a person who believes that if there's something on your heart that you want to do, then go do it, which is why we're bringing out our chakra candle line. Now, this is super dope for me because what I've learned over the last few years is about balancing oneself, really tapping into myself. I have done a lot of healing, holistic. I've done a lot of what in the spiritual world we call shadow work. And I've had to really deal with myself, my goals, my dreams, the things that have slowed me down, the things that have kept me from progressing forward, distractions, right? Real life distractions, relationships, good, bad, and indifferent. One of the things, if I want to encourage you this season, as you go into the holiday season, and I can tell you firsthand, right? I don't always look like what I'm going through. And I think sometimes it's a misconception that we look like we have it all together, but we also have our good moments and our bad moments. And so I want to encourage you, one, whatever it is that you want to do, do it. Don't compromise it whatsoever. I made a decision that I'm no longer doing things that I don't love, not for the sake of money, not for the sake of other people's opinions, and not to please anyone. Don't do anything that you're not in love with. Don't let anyone talk you into doing anything that does not settle with your vibrations, that does not flow with who you are. Do what you love. If you have a cause and a passion like Maaria, and you have the ability to impact change, and there's something you want to move forward and fight for it. Your livelihood depends upon it. In this season, when it comes to your relationships, and I have to be the first person to tell you, let go of the dead weight. Do not carry another person into 2022 who is not in alignment with where you're headed, not in alignment with your goals, not in alignment with your dreams, not in alignment with your aspirations. More importantly, number three, it's okay to say no. You don't have to say yes to everything. Say yes to the things that make your heart beat. And don't apologize for the things that didn't work out. Stop apologizing for the things that did not work out. Stop apologizing for the people who did not show up. At the end of the day, you have to do what resonates with you. So that's what gets me excited, is that over these last couple of years, with me coming from direct sales, network marketing, you'll find I don't follow crowds. I don't get caught up in the hype. Ultimately, I understand the industry, but what I've learned is I understand business and I understand people. And if I can encourage you, entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, here in the month of Women's Month, Women's Entrepreneur Month, is that we don't do transactions, we do relationships. And so if it's transactional, if it's anything other than building a solid relationship, and if it doesn't make your heart sing, don't do it. Just a few things that I've learned, and I'm gonna, as I close out this season for She Speaks, you're gonna really be able to tap deeply into where I am going as an entrepreneur. And so with that being said, become a boss, right? So let's bring to the line another young woman. She is just dope. I had an opportunity this past weekend to take advantage of some dope events that took place in Atlanta in honor and celebration of women. One of them, shout out to Tiara, one of the founders of Girlboss Suites. She came to Atlanta and she brought some powerhouses here. This is also the dynamic week of GoatCon, which was just super dope. That was another dynamic event, and thank you True Blue PR and Nicole Best for including me, being able to break history and speak on the Capitol of Georgia at a time where women were not allowed to speak inside the Capitol. And of course, the founder of Girlboss is determined to take this to Washington, D.C. next year. So you're going to see some powerful women in Washington, D.C. doing some dynamic things. But I have an opportunity to bring to the line the founder, this dynamic co-founder of Girlboss Suites, Miss Shayna Marshall.
It's Shayna.
Marshall, girl,
can you hear me?
Diva, darling. Please tell me that I said your name correctly. Is it Shayna?
It's Shayna.
Shayna. Sorry, look at me trying to make it all elaborate and deep, but it's beautiful. Shayna Marshall, co-founder of Girlboss Suites. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you? Can you hear me just fine?
Say that one more time.
Can you hear me just fine?
I can hear you just fine. I just had my team turn it up a little bit on my side, so absolutely. I'm getting old up here, so I got to clear out these little ears, make sure I can hear everything. Talk to us this evening. I had a dynamic bomb.com time working with your amazing partner, literally as she brought the house down in Atlanta with some dynamic events that were all about empowering women. And so I know you guys have the Girlboss Suites. First and foremost, let's tell me a little bit about Shayna. Tell me about Girlboss Suites and how you got involved.
So one, thank you for having me on tonight. Tiara is actually in flight because normally we are a package deal. Yes. She's on her way back to Houston. I'm Shayna Marshall. I'm the co-founder of Girlboss Suites, along with Tiara Johnson. We founded Girlboss Suites just in 2020, honestly, in the midst of the pandemic. Wow. We had the idea brewing and decided to open our doors right before the world shut down. So that, honestly, where you thought it would be a challenge, it's proven to be something wonderful. Girlboss Suites is a collaborative, co-working, and online environment for women in business, right? So we are passionate about building women in business, creating women entrepreneurs, making sure everybody understands that if that's whatever their dreams are, that they can make them come true, right? And so we focus on women who have goals of creating businesses, opening businesses, ideas that they want to launch. We work with them specifically on going from a dream to executing it into real life. We do that through an online platform that is available that educates women. So we have educational courses and workshops. We have space. So usually the biggest challenge of opening a business is the fact that you don't have the budget, the means to open your own brick and mortar. So what we created was shared spaces in Atlanta and in Houston where women can open a business, and now you have a space where you can come and work, you can plan, meet with your team, but you can also showcase your product, your services. And the best part about it is that you have a tribe. Right? You have a tribe of women that are there doing the same thing that you are doing, trying to do the same thing that you are doing, and cheering everybody's cheering each other on. And I like to call it a built-in marketing team. So if there are 10, 20, 30, 40 women in Atlanta, 50, 100 in Atlanta and in Houston, and we're hoping to grow that to hundreds and thousands. Imagine if I said, hey girls, I'm having a Black Friday sale. Will you share my flyer? And it's 1,000 of us, right? That's like built-in feet on the ground to promote each other's products and services, just to see each other win. So that, I know that's a lot. That's Girlboss Suites in a nutshell. And so what you witnessed this weekend was the epitome of all of that personified, right? It was in person, networking, in person empowerment, in person encouraging, in person just getting to feel that what my challenges are relatable, but my successes and my wins are also accomplishable. Is that a word? Accomplishable?
It's okay. We got it. It works.
You know what I mean.
Coin that. Make it a shirt.
Yes. So, I mean, this weekend was nothing short of amazing. Between the Capitol, the wine and work events, the panels. I don't know if you got to go to church on Sunday. I mean, we did it all.
Y'all brought the house down in Atlanta. First of all, to partner with William Murphy, and Danielle, just such a dynamic couple. But what you did, if I could just share my experience, I actually went to all your events. Obviously, I went to the Capitol. I started with the Capitol, which really made my heart leap. And to see what you all have done is monumental. I know the bigger vision for you all is next year to take that to the steps of Washington, D.C. Yeah,
that's going to be so amazing. Can you imagine that?
I see it. It's a done deal. It's not even imagining, because you already know what you all have proven is when you put your mind to something. I talked to Tiara, and she said she had called the congressman, and literally she put that phone call in to be able to open up that door to have over 100 female bosses show up in 2022 on the steps. I'm like saluting it, because I told her, I was like, oh my God, it's just so dope. First of all, we just happened to have a session for this year. This is the first time ever that this legislation was actually in session. And so the observers that came out to see these women being honored from these different walks of life, empowerment and collaboration being the new currency, period. Like women coming together. I saw all backgrounds, all nationalities. You had some firehouses, that Dolce and her friend that came out of Houston. I mean, and now we have the conversation of let's come to Houston and do events. That turns into coins. That turns into money. And that begins to make your business, partnering with Girlboss Suites, locking in. We saw what you did with Brooke Mackey. Oh my God. To be able to help.
Isn't that amazing? You have to get Brooke to come onto the show, because her book is amazing.
Yes.
Right?
She is amazing.
She is. And it's just so full of the real life story of mom and business and balance and life. Like, it's just, and it's kind of like, it's a lot of the unsaid in the book and through her messaging, the things that we kind of shy away from, and sometimes that, we feel hold us back. And she's just saying, we're embracing that and we're able to do it all.
And that's actually a service that you all write. Like, she had the vision. Let me help you all understand what Girlboss Suites is, so that you just don't see it as another co-working space. But these young ladies are truly bringing other women's visions into full manifestation. Because when Brooke came to them, just to show a snippet of her story, she is the only female influencer for a cognac brand, Cavassier. She came to the Girlboss Suites with a vision and a dream to want to write a book. And here is Shayna and Tiara really have used their platform through Girlboss Suites to collaborate with her to help her become an author. Listen, I want to empower you to, one, Shayna, really lock arms with her and Tierra, because if there's a vision, if there's a dream, we quietly were calling you all the plug, like the real plugs of
The
Atlanta
plug. I
and
love
of
it.
Houston, Shayna and Tierra at Girlboss Suites. So I know you guys offer these services. I call them, in my mind, I was like, they do dream services, because I needed you
I
around when
love
I was.
that. I love that. You know, Tierra, in her brand is actually a dream coach. And I met her, that was what she was doing. And it's just so amazing to see that through Girl Boss Suites, we're finding these ladies and we're able to take that dream and further manifest it, right? So to your point, like there are packages that we have available that don't just include the co-working or the space, right? You can create digital products for yourself and your brand. A lot of people who have personal brands but haven't yet figured out exactly how to monetize it, you know, being able to say, you know, let's dream big about your personal brand and create a product that's available for you to be able to, one, share your story, share your knowledge, and be able to make money in your sleep by creating ebooks, creating hard copy books, planners. We've helped a few people. We even partnered recently with Bambi from Love and Hip Hop. I don't know if you guys saw that on our platform. And she did a book, an ebook as well, that's available on her website. And then you'll see her package. We coined that package after working with her to be able to also create ebooks for individuals, as well as, like I said, hard copy books and other merchandise.
I love that. Now, so I see that both of you all, you are a girl boss. When you were growing up as a little girl, who was the person that you wanted to be? Like, who was your idol? I love Wonder Woman.
You know what's so funny? It was always my mom.
Aww.
And I say that with because my mom actually was an educator. I didn't want to be an educator per se, right? So it wasn't necessarily the career, it was the day to day way that she carried out life, right? So my mom was very much on purpose. She lived life on purpose. So, like the things that she did with her family, it was to make sure that we were successful on purpose, right? Not by mistake, not just haphazardly. It was just, so everything was so intentional. And as I grew up, I saw that, you know, that it wasn't common that people were intentional with life, right? And we only have one life to live. And it was just, you know, her making the best of every single situation and intentionally making sure that her family was good, her students were great, you know, they had the best opportunities, we had the best opportunities. And so it was just, it was that. And every time I see women who live life on purpose, like that is just so inspiring to me. So it wasn't necessarily, you know, oh, I want to grow up and be in business. I didn't think that I would probably grow up and be an entrepreneur at all. You know, I felt like, but I knew, I guess, from foundationally that if I worked hard, I was deliberate about trying to figure out where I wanted to go in life and how I wanted to get there, then it would be possible, right? So I didn't know, you know, oh, from a young age that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I can't say that. I spent 15 years in corporate America. And then as I went through and continued to learn about systems and processes, like that's my thing. I'm more business operations, I'm business processes. So whereas Tierra is going to bring like your creativity and these create your products, and I'm going to then on the back end of it create your systems, help you with your workflows, making sure you can scale, make your business scalable, and create an enterprise from where you may see a one woman shop. So, you know, and I've learned those throughout the years, and I was like, I just want to literally be the best that I can be and help people be the best that they can be. And that turned into entrepreneurship for me. But it was really just having that foundation of living life on purpose and trying to help people be the best that they could be every day to accomplish whatever it is they wanted to accomplish.
I love that. Full of purpose and being able to transmute the very thing that you became passionate about into profitability.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So are you coming to DC with us?
Oh, girl, I'm already there. Like, literally, Bell's packed in. I even told Tierra, I said, listen, Houston is like my second favorite city. Like, I was just there in August. I always crash out the A-Loft so I can be close to the Galleria. I like to be hurt with all the food. I'm a foodie. But
so you have to come to Girlboss Suites.
Yes, definitely. So I told her I'm all in. I've already talked to Dolce and some of the other women that you all had here in Atlanta this week for the dynamic events that you had. You know, obviously, you all being big girl bosses, big empowering women, is there a girl boss, you know, let's look big, that you're really loving right now out in the world of things? What girl boss that you see out there doing it that you really love?
You know what? I'm going to just take it back to this weekend and really just give it all towards Miss Skittles and the work that she's doing.
Ooh, yes.
Yes. Did you?
Wow.
I mean, the bakery was amazing. The looking at the story, you know, when she told her story at the Capitol, which I had heard the story before, but honestly, never from her perspective, from her mouth, and just hearing how she had challenges from, you know, starting small to kind of being taken over out of her business, to struggling to build it and get it back, to where she is even now. And that GoatCon event that was like, oh my gosh, Master P, Grant Cardone, right? Like,
Les Brown.
it was like, so I would just give her flowers right now, while I have the opportunity, because, you know, just being able to hear that story in person and being able, it was full of the ups and downs. A lot of times we as women, we get scared when it, you know, you would love for it to all just go up. Like, it would be great to say, okay, I have a plan. I'm open, but it's like, yeah, back it up, start it over, run you over with a tow truck, bring you back up. And the fact that she just kept going. Yes. And she continues to keep going, right? It's very inspiring. So I'm just going to give it to her because maybe I'm still high off this weekend. But that's amazing. The work that she was doing and the work that she's done in creating her space, collaborating with Girlboss Suites and being able to come, and the timing was just great as far as her grand opening and the Capitol event. So I would just say that, you know, there are a lot of women out here that are doing big, amazing things. It's so many, and it's so great to see that it is, you know, women that are Black and brown women and are beautiful. I mean, the fact that we are where we are now and it feels like we're just getting started, it just brings me so much excitement, because it's like, what does the future look like? Like, I want to see it now.
That would lead me to my next question. You know, you guys are doing, my God, thebomb.com, and I said it on the panel. I said that we as women don't come together enough, which makes what you all are doing so special and so sweet, to be able to bring women together, connecting other working women, powerful women who have visions or goals, to other women in different fields. So is there like a girl boss in a particular field that you're looking for? We've got girls that are watching who are so inspired and they want to get engaged. So again, helping them to understand that they could connect with us, with women like yourself and Tierra. Is there that girl boss in any particular field that you're looking for? Who is the
You know,
ideal girl
I
that
don't think
gets
we've
involved?
had experience yet with the tech field as far as those software developers. Right? Like I feel like, a lot of people are in, retail, e-commerce. Those are really amazing. We have some graphic design options to people too. I would love to meet software developers, especially those that are in the apps, creating apps. That would be amazing. I know that we have people in the financial services field, a lot of people that are getting into um, understanding investments and being able to teach from that perspective. We've run into a couple, but not as many as I would like to see. I'm a big advocate of financial literacy. And so I would love to see us be able to create kind of these pods within Girlboss Suites where, maybe you obviously have your e-commerce retail type of a circle, but then you're also bringing in like that tech, the financial services, people, you learn so much from other individuals, and being able to create these bonds and these groups of individuals would help to increase the knowledge. It also increases like your desire to grow, right? So like I get around other, and when I say like-minded, we're all like-minded, right? Because we're in this space for a reason. We're there because we see its purpose and we want to collaborate and grow with each other. But then when I start talking to other people in the financial services field, other people in the tech field, it helps me extend my reach, right? It helps me to extend my knowledge. I start to build relationships that I may not have had before. I have connections at maybe other firms, other organizations that I may not have had the ability to touch before. So like, the vision of it is so big that, Tiara talks a lot. She's like, she wants to go to 10 cities in 5 years.
Big
And
picture
really
thinker.
create the spaces, right? And if you think about it, it's like, because if I can go, like right now, I wouldn't have been able to go to Houston. Like I wouldn't have been able to just go to Houston and say that, let me call some people, and not only some people, but let me call people in business that can put me in a room because I'm trying to accomplish a specific goal in my business. I can do that now. Right. And so the vision then is, let me call people that could put me in a room in Detroit. Let me call people that could put me in a room in Charlotte. And now I got this broad network, right? 10 cities all over the place where I could literally, because I'm a Girlboss Suites member, I can go to Girlboss Suites, sit amongst other women, attend events, meet people there. And now I'm a nationally recognized, whether it's my brand, whether it's my services. People are looking for me and I'm looking for them. So that vision, that future and it feels like it's definitely within reach. Like it feels like it's within reach. It feels like it's needed, and people want it. And so like we actually visited, since we opened, we visited Charlotte. We had events in LA. We had events in Miami. We did events in South Georgia and Savannah, Georgia, as well as Atlanta, of course, and Houston. And we were in Detroit. I can't remember if I said Detroit. But we've done events and we'll do pop-ups in these spaces just to bring women together and see, kind of test the market, but also let them see like what the Girlboss Suites experience is about. And the future of Girlboss Suites is really to be able to go and make people have friends in business everywhere in the country.
Well, you truly are. Oh, deja vu. You truly are bringing collaboration as a new currency to an all new high, and I
love that too. I'm gonna steal that. Collaboration is a new currency.
Yes,
I'm gonna text here and tell her right now, like that. Once you start to see it, don't say, Like we
No
still
problem,
need
no
it.
problem. Obviously, because honestly, to your point, being in the room of a Girlboss Suites event in Atlanta, there was a girl there from a hemp farm, literally, who was terrified to talk about her business. But, get in the room with me and we'll make you tell me who you are and what you do. Because that's who I am, because I want to let other people know that your services are needed. And in that room, ladies, just to give you an example, there was a girl there who deals with CBD and hemp. She actually cooks. They cook food with it. They prepare it. Then there was another girl who literally was the first black female to work for Condé Nast. And now she's developing a whole makeup line. All right. And then you've got, I call her the lioness founder. Like, I'm just the different energies, the chef, the restaurant owners, all in one room having different conversations. This is money. And you all have literally, you're preparing. I have to go back and let everybody know we are going to the nation's capital in 2022, bringing and honoring and women's entrepreneur because of the movement that has been sparked by Tiara and Shayna with Girlboss Suites. And honestly, we can't wait to be there with you. Tell me, you guys have, like I said, so many dope events. You've been testing markets. You've got big vision thinker between you and Tiara, just getting the job done. What's next for you all? I know there's an event in March. I'm hearing you guys got so much going on. But what's big? What's next for you all?
So, literally speaking, was next in Houston. We're having a Christmas soiree.
Okay.
Which will be a collaboration of women businesses being able to showcase their products, and people being able to pick up some things for last minute Christmas shopping, as well as networking and planning for 2022. So there'll be a series of kind of shopping and getting ready to launch the new year in Houston. So we're super excited about that.
When is that event? Because I might just pop in with a bag full of products myself. So when is it?
December the 11th. So if you're in the Houston area, check out our Instagram at Girlboss Suites. We have a Houston specific one at Girlboss Suites HTX, and our website. So our email communications are probably the best way to keep up. We do a weekly newsletter. And so it can give you all the upcoming events. So I would say, definitely go online and subscribe to that. And then outside of that, we'll be planning for March, which will be events in Houston relative to Women's Month there.
Well, I've already committed to being there in March with you all with bells on. Anything that we can do here, myself as an entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur, and just supporting Girlboss Suites. I am so proud of you all. I'm so proud that you are doing what needs to be done, which is bringing the women together to make us bigger and to make us stronger and to empower us on every level with the vehicles and the resources. And honestly, again, just to recap for the audience, how they find you, get to your website, because these girl bosses offer so many other services. Girlboss Suites is just the beginning with you all.
It is. Thank you so much. You guys, please subscribe to our email, girlbosssuites.com. That's going to be the best way to get us. And of course, hit us up on Instagram.
Oh, super dope. Well, I can't wait to meet you. And Tiara has just been amazing. And she tagged on Instagram today. But anything you need from us here, anything you need from me, I'm at your service. As another girl boss, to another girl boss, I salute you. I look forward to
Thank you so much. And thank you for having us.
Yes, ma'am. Have an amazing, amazing evening. And
listen, you too.
Listen, all of you guys who are tuning in, listen, here we at SheSpeaksTV, we're all about making sure that your voice and your narrative are told, your story is shared, and the products and services that you all offer to the world, we get to know about. And of course, we get to cover so many dynamic stories that cover the spectrum. And so tonight being no different, we want to say from our family to yours, please be safe in this holiday season. This week we celebrate Thanksgiving. Families are traveling all across the world. It is the most busiest travel time of the year. To our entrepreneurs, we salute you when we say go forth to close out your fourth quarter with an amazing big bang. And to all of you who are aspiring to go to higher heights and looking for other opportunities, please feel free to stay connected to SheSpeaks, because there's so many things that we do, so many lives that we touch, so many businesses that we hope to explode, and to include yours. And so with that being said, we want to say happy Thanksgiving from our home to yours for those of you who celebrate in this holiday season. And we can't wait to see you as we kick off. We will return in December as we kick off She Speaks and prepare to close out the end of the year. Mwah. Happy Thanksgiving, and from all of us to ours, we'll see you at the top, my loves, because the bottom is just too crowded. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.